think that's it. Yeah, we're recording now. So how are you doing, Ina? How's the magazine going?
Well, the magazine turned into an online platform, really. More than publishing the magazine now, I organize virtual well-being events.
Right.
So before the first lockdown, I was actually thinking of organizing a real life well-being event in Eastern Berkshire,
Mm.
Bearsden and Milngavie area, and I was looking for a nice venue. And I was thinking of bringing all well-being professionals from all the yoga teachers, chiropractors, massage therapists, crystal therapies. There are so many. Once you get into this well-being sector, there are so
Yeah.
many bits and pieces, and there are so many talented professionals in the area that really needed a platform. I was obviously very disappointed when lockdown started last year, and I quickly realized that my vision was not going to happen anytime soon. And then somebody suggested, "Well, why don't you do a virtual event? Because clearly we all need well-being at this time more than ever."
Yeah.
Um, so I started asking my various local contacts, and everybody was so nice. From people who do beauty and skincare, personal trainers, everybody just came along and offered their skills and expertise. And we created the first virtual wellbeing festival. That was April last year. In June, there was a second wave. There were 16 events over 3 days, each of them on a specific theme around well-being. Um,
Is that all on Zoom then?
um,
This festival.
they are live events. I
Ah,
do organize them on Zoom.
right.
Everybody who's there at the time obviously benefits from the live experience and can ask questions to the person doing the presentation. But then the session is recorded and available on YouTube where
Right.
possible.
So is it all about like sharing ideas then and talking to each other and um
Yes, absolutely. So the last part of the event is always about bringing the community together and allowing them to ask questions or have their own feedback. It's just so important to, have
Mhm.
someone listening. One of the most inspirational people I had was Michael Byrne. I don't know if you know him, lived experience trauma support. Michael is local, and he had a very challenging life. He was in the pub when the helicopter crashed.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
But he is
the
a
Cliffa,
wonderful, yes,
the Cliffa, yeah.
he's a wonderful human being who took that challenge and turned it into a positive. He wrote a book and he had a presentation. Um, I think we had about 50 people on the call, and everybody was just so touched. It's just such a wonderful experience to hear him talk about his own experience and handling trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds that sounds really. I wouldn't like to have been in that pub really if when that happened.
I know.
No.
His presentation is still on YouTube, so everybody can watch. I fully recommend it. It's one of the most special live events I've ever been to, and that says something because it was a virtual event. Obviously, we were not in the same room, and I've never met him in person.
Yeah. So have you got any other live events planned for the future?
In the near future, we are doing a nutrition and well-being virtual event. This one might or might not be live. Um, it might turn into just an interview I do with this fitness coach. Mark has done a personal training session last year for me. And again, it's just so hugely interesting because his approach is not the usual no pain, no gain that you see with all the personal trainers.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks there is a gentler approach to fitness. And I've been sold from day one when he said, I have a no pain, no pain approach to fitness. I thought this is amazing. This is genius. Everybody needs to be on that. His presentation again is on YouTube and on That Ilk's channel, and it's really inspirational. And
Right.
it's all about building step by step life in improving your life gently
Yeah.
on a daily basis, rather than starting to go on a boot camp.
Yeah. So you're the producer and the manager of the Ilk magazine. Is
Yeah,
that
I'm
right?
everything for That Ilk at the
You
moment.
do everything Ilk
Everything.
related.
I've created the website,
Yeah.
I published the magazine, I organized the events. Yeah,
I saw the website. I had a look at it. It looks amazing. It's very
thank you.
professional, and uh, it's really well done. And I don't think I saw your events on there though. The live events, is that on there? Not sure.
So it's thatilk.org/events.
Right.
You're going to see the past events. The new ones are still to be uploaded. There's another one on property. So since, our homes have become our castles, I'm bringing a property expert to talk about well-being and our houses, what to expect from the property market.
Mhm.
It's all a bit uncertain at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it will be another great topic to cover.
Yeah. Are you working on the next magazine just now then? Is that in the works?
I haven't focused on that. Last year, I incorporated as a social enterprise and I started applying for funding. I got a wee grant that allowed me to organize the June Virtual Wellbeing Festival. But now I'm going for a bit more. I want to transform the website to really guide people on a well-being path, so you can pick and choose the types of activities that you'd like to take on, and then hopefully the website will drip feed you just a 3-minute video or a small activity every day to gently nudge you towards your well-being path.
Yep.
So I've been busy applying for funding and getting used to the idea, because my background is not charity or social enterprise. I know nothing about that.
Yeah.
And
I'm the
it's been
same.
rather hard.
I just started this radio show. I know nothing about applying for funding or anything.
Yes. And you know how tricky all that can become,
Yeah,
time consuming.
I wouldn't know where to start, especially in this climate with the lockdown happening and a lot of funding's been sort of not happened. This radio station that this gets broadcast on, they're doing a fundraiser on GoFundMe to try, because the station's under threat because they've lost a lot of funding, So yeah, it's
I think I've seen something about radio in general being under threat at the moment because nobody's advertising really. It's just,
yeah. Well, they've employed someone, and hopefully they're going to be able to take the station back up to, um, make it better. They do get plenty of listeners anyway, though. The last show that I done for Christmas, I got 50 listeners that I know of on the Mixcloud thing for the Christmas special. So that was good. But there's thousands of others that you wouldn't know that on FM stereo that would have tuned in as well and online. So yeah.
oh,
So is That Ilk? Have you got a YouTube channel then? Is that right?
yeah, just search for That Ilk.
Yeah.
I think it's the only one with that name.
How big is That Ilk then? So you've got your own website, you've got your YouTube channel, and you've got your festivals and your events. It sounds like it's quite a massive thing you've got going on. How do you find the time to do all this?
Um,
Call it.
I'm cheating a little bit. I'm not cheating. No, I'm joking.
You've got a team of people working like little minions.
No, my background is marketing. This is what I do. It's digital marketing. So I can be very efficient when I want to, and I have the space to think and focus. But my family has been a huge support in this, and also everybody, all the professionals who volunteer effectively and offer their skill and knowledge. I would not be able to pull it off. They do the heavy lifting. I just do the pretty bits and pieces, really.
Yeah, I wish I had people around me like that who could help me with this show. I need a bit of help try to get it out there and get more people to listen, you know.
Oh, I'm happy to talk about that if I can help in any way. Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. I was in the community magazine a couple of times on, was it October, and that's the recent one there. So I've been in their magazine. Yours actually, your website looks a lot more professional.
Oh,
I wouldn't like to compare the two because I don't know if these are in competition or anything, but
no, I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
Yeah.
First of all, because I think they're a lot more focused on print, and I have zero prints. I just think a digital approach is more sustainable and more in tune with what's going on, more approachable, and obviously more budget friendly for me, because printing and delivering so many copies of an issue of the magazine would be crippling at this point. But I'm not going in that direction at all. I'm going more digital if possible. And there are so many bits and pieces that I don't have the time to do, but it's nice of you to say that it feels like I'm doing a lot.
Yeah, it's good to see people really putting a lot of effort into their work, you know. It is. And having a passion about it as well. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Well, I've learned firsthand the impact of self-care when my youngest was about 2, maybe, or not even 2 years old. I was having these bouts of allergic reaction, but they were really bad. So I couldn't get out of the house for a week sometimes because my face was unrecognizable. I looked like I'd been losing badly to a boxer. Like my eyes would swell, I would have red patches everywhere. So I spent a bit of time investigating because my GP couldn't tell me. They said, oh, it's an unspecific allergy.
Yeah.
You might never know what's going on, but I ended up in the hospital because the usual anti-allergic medication was no longer working, so they had to give me steroids. It was really impacting my life. At the time, I was desperate. I had 2 young children, so 2 children under 3. It was really hard. But I was in a good position. I afforded to go investigate with private medical insurance. And I discovered that actually my allergic reactions were caused by stress and anxiety. It was the first time that I heard in an allergy specialist office in London that yes, this exists.
Oh, I never thought that. I'd never think that would happen.
His diagnosis was put in 5 minutes straight. He asked me how long my allergic reactions lasted, and I said it could last a week, 10 days. And he said that there is no substance that you could put in your body that would not flush out in 48 hours. So there was only one explanation left. It was a really tough moment. I had to call my husband in because I said if I told him that, he would not believe me. Doctor, please explain to my husband what's wrong with me.
Yeah.
But what he recommended back then was therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, to help me manage my anxieties. So this has been 8 years ago. Yeah. And I've never had of allergic reaction since. I've taken no medication whatsoever. I take no antidepressants, no calming medicine. I take nothing. I just changed my lifestyle. I went through therapy for 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm a lot more self-aware. I pay attention to myself because otherwise I can't really care for my family. So since I've been on this journey, well-being has become really, really important. It made me familiar with specific terms and made me aware of my own state of mind and my body's reactions. And I do want to share and spread that because I think it's hugely important. We can end up on unnecessary medication and being a burden to the NHS when really just small lifestyle changes could make a huge difference.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, the magazine and that, all you do then, it must have a really good effect on your mental health and your health in general.
Well, it definitely focuses me away from the rest of my family. I just shut the door and say, I'm busy now. And this is a bit my personal space as well. And it is a proud moment to see people going to events or downloading the magazine and then coming back and saying, oh, that was really life-changing, you know. It's beautiful.
Yeah, oh, that's nice. That's really nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of this radio show that I've been doing it for about a year. It does take my mind off of a lot of the negative things. So I've had some problems as well. So having something to do that takes your mind off of things it's makes a lot of difference, big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there. So is your background radio then?
Well, I've been doing it a year. It was I'm a member of Flourish House, which is a mental health charity in Charing Cross, and we one of this got a new staff member, and he'd been involved in with Sonny Govan before, and he said, "Would you like the charity like to get involved with Sonny Govan?" So they were doing a course at Sonny Govan, so a couple of groups of members went and done the course, and then shortly after we started the Let's Flourish show. Done that for four. It's like a month at a time. I had so I was doing a half an hour live for a month, and that was for 4 months, and then lockdown happened. So I sort of kick-started the radio during lockdown again, and and then that got up and running for Flourish. Done loads of shows. Done a really good one for Refugee Week, and interviewed like MPs and mental health advocates and stuff like that. Loads of stuff. But then I started my own solo show, and that was Go With The Flow, and that was basically dance music and, you know, just to try and cheer people up and take their mind off of things, just give them, and it helps the music industry as well, you know, because they're struggling. And then started this show, B&M radio show, it's called now, Bearsden and Milngavie, for this our area community. And there's so much content in this area, so much talent, and you know, it's just amazing that the amount of stuff here that you can talk about, good positive stuff, you know. So I've been working on that. This is the 4th show. This one's will be going out in January, the end of January. So
Okay.
yeah. So that's basically it. But it's good fun. I love it. You know, let's try and pick the best music, and then try and interview people like yourself, the really nice people that are doing really good stuff for the community, and it makes a difference because people want to hear what people in the community are doing, and you know, it's nice to get your voice out there.
And it's so easy to get isolated, because we're all, well, at least people like me who have children who are homeschooling now, um, it can become, you can become an island. We're all in the house doing work. There are so many responsibilities. There really is no time to connect anymore. And there is, you know, there's something inherently deeply human about meeting someone face to face and in person and shaking their hand and giving them a hug. And I was talking to one of my friends that I haven't seen, or, you know, we hardly ever touch base now because of lockdown. And she said, I am so exhausted by the idea of going out and being mindful that we don't get too close, that we keep social distancing. It's just so exhausting. I would rather not do it at all. And it comes to a point when you're like, it's just too much. I'm just going to sit down and read a book or mind my family. And then we become isolated. And that's always something that impacts our mental health, I think. We're all just deeply social animals. We need that connection.
Kind of wish I had a family myself. I'm on my own here in my wee flat.
I don't know if to envy you though, because I'll be honest.
It gets lonely. It does, man. It's
Just before we got into our meeting, my children were bouncing a basketball next door, and the whole house was shaking. And I can't really stop them because they're 9 and 11. They need to move. The weather outside is miserable. What can they do? So I just waited and hoped that they would finish their basketball game before. So we were lucky. It was.
Do you know, I'm a big kid. If it was me and I had kids, I would be out there playing with them. That's what I would be doing.
It wears off after a while, Stuart. It wears off, especially when they're your responsibility, and you look at them and you say, "Oh, you're jumping and you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to hit a corner. You shouldn't be playing basketball indoors." I'm really better off not getting involved.
Yeah. Don't want to get stressed out, like, you know.
Exactly. I'm stressing myself out and I'm stressing them. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's better to just leave a bit of space between us.
Concentrate on the magazine.
Yes.
That Ilk magazine.
Yeah. So the next, probably by the time this will air, the property event is going to have happened. I have a date for it. It's the last Wednesday of January, so the 27th. And then we're aiming
this goes out the last Sunday of January, so
so there you go. So on the 27th of January, there's going to be a, you know, property and your well-being type of event. We're still brainstorming for ideas, and I will have a property expert talking about.
So looking at DIY stuff, things you can do about the house.
Just chatting about whether, you know, people want to consider home improvement or moving house. I'm actually looking forward to hearing what she's going to say, because we're in the same position as probably a lot of people. We're running out of space. The kids are growing, and it's always a balancing act. Should we sell and move home and to, you know, step up the property ladder, or should we stay put and improve? I'm thinking that's where the discussion will be.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe, well, it's just a thought. I'd quite like a sauna or a steam room in my bathroom, but I don't think there's enough room. But it would be nice. But
everybody would love that.
then they're all day.
I don't know. Some people are considering caravans. I think caravans actually had big bump in sales this year. Everybody's
Yeah,
buying a caravan, hoping that they'll be able to travel.
yeah. My mum's neighbour got one, and my cousin has got one that they're doing up. They bought it second hand, and they're refurbishing it.
Mm.
I'm thinking about getting an e-bike,
Ooh,
a nice wee e-bike, you know.
you do need one for Glasgow Hills, don't you? You can't just have a regular
Yeah.
for all the uphill.
Well, I'm not very good on a bike, so even on the flat, it's because it's like it's quite a few miles to get down to my place I volunteer at, and then go back round to my mum's and come back. It's about 15 miles or something. Yeah, so
Well, I learned how to ride a bike as part of my well-being journey, now that you reminded me. So my children were both on bikes when I learned how to ride a bike.
yeah,
And I just decided I had to keep up with them because they were faster than me on foot. Um, and I just taught myself. I watched a YouTube video and then went outside with a bike, and I learned one afternoon. I'm not great on the bike either.
I need a comfortable saddle. That's the thing with me. It's comfort.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, so I have a one rusty old bike. It's my one and only bike. I've only owned one bike in my whole life. That's it.
That's all you need.
my,
Keep it clean.
my husband bought it secondhand for me once I learned how to balance.
You know, I was taking motorcycle lessons last year, and it was really, it was pretty dangerous.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah, it was. I was really wanting to get a motorcycle, like an electric motorcycle, but I was ready for taking the CB, the cognitive, what's it called, compulsory basic training. But I got cold feet, and I started worrying about the dangers of it and stuff.
Mm.
So I thought an e-bike, if I could get used to that, then that might give me a bit more confidence.
Yeah. I don't think Scottish weather is inducive of um, motorbikes. You'll just be wet and cold.
Yeah, I mean,
I
my ne- my uncle and my nephews, they've all got super bikes as well, and they I don't know how often they go out, but they enjoy it. Yeah, my nephew just got a really good brand new bike, red one. It's like I wouldn't be able to. I don't think I could ever go on a bike as powerful as that.
I don't think I've ever been. I think my top dream for motorbikes would be a Vespa.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. They're nice, and they're not too fast, not too
No,
powerful.
no. But again, it's just not, they're just not for a Scottish climate. They're for Italian hot and narrow roads.
Yeah. So back to the magazine. Sorry, sort of off on a tangent there. Um, what have you got any articles that you're thinking about doing that you might want to, or you want to keep that to yourself just now?
Um, I'm still thinking of a theme for the next issue. Usually, the magazine has an overarching theme, like sustainability, where I've gathered a lot of local projects and businesses who, some recycle whiskey barrels, for instance, and make furniture.
Hmm.
Um, Others recycle bread to make beer. Others recycle fabrics that would go into a landfill and make gorgeous wedding venue styling and decor. Um, I'm just thinking what the theme will be for the next issue. The situation is just so volatile. Obviously, mental health could be a focus. I just worry so much about all the small businesses that are struggling and wondering what's going to be left of the high street. Are there going to be businesses that will not survive? And it just feels like it's such a bad, it's a moment for so many bad news. It's kind of hard for me to pick my sunny vision for the future,
Yeah.
because I don't want the magazine was never intended and will never be about what's bad in this world. There are so many things that are bad. It's always going to be about highlighting the beauty, the resilience, what's wonderful about our community. So I'm still searching for that vision. And any ideas are more than welcome, really, at this point.
Yeah.
Just something to focus us on, so we can move from this.
It's hard. It's hard, really, because like lockdown, it's less. There's kind of less options, I think, isn't there? Like it's less happening. You know.
There's not a lot to do, is there?
Well, my clubhouse was opened for a wee bit there, so I was lucky because that's a support sort of thing. So they were allowed to open, and it was like they were allowed 7 people at a time, and so I was able to go in there now and again. Like it was quite nice, do a bit of work.
Yeah.
That kept me busy a wee bit.
Yeah, I miss that,
Yeah.
I think this is one of the things that I missed the most once I became self-employed. The fact that I'm on my own. I always enjoyed working in busy spaces. So you know how some people need perfect quiet to be at their best. I loved the background noise of an office, people chatting or being over the phone, hearing a background radio. It just helped me focus into myself somehow when I needed to, but also, when I had a break, I could turn around and have a wee chat with someone. And I loved that, and I miss that. When before social distancing, I would just go to a cafe. I was meeting my clients. I was always out and about, networking events and so on. And now it's just me and Zoom.
Yeah, Zoom's a lifeline, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not the same though, is it? It's not the
It's
same.
not, but it's better than nothing, really. I mean, if we're really lucky, well, maybe not so lucky, but the fact that it's happened at this point in time where Zoom has just popped up and it's available and it's the technology's at the right stage. It's that's a good part of it in a way that um so I mean I'll take anything I can get, really.
Absolutely, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. And as I mentioned before, I've still made meaningful connections over the year and through Zoom. So it would be nonsense to say that that's not the truth. But once you go into, and it's great when it's one to one, but if you go into a larger group, like for networking and stuff, you can't really turn around to the person next to you and just have a quiet chat for a minute while everybody else is minding their own business. There's just one person talking and that's it. Everybody else is disconnected, if that makes sense. And it kind of bothers me because I used to love just whispering away with a friend, or just, there's sometimes you don't even have to chat. It's just all that non-verbal communication that goes on with other people, and that bonding that's just so
Yeah.
important. So I really miss that.
Yeah, and touching, like you just not like hugging and like, you're getting somebody a coffee and you pat them on the back and
Yeah, or just touching them on the elbow and
yeah.
not needing to say anything, just to wave. And yeah, it's just all the little things, isn't it?
Getting close to people is kind of out the window, isn't it? Unless you're a family or
Yeah. Well, with a family, it's always the same people, isn't it?
but,
I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and I said, Well, this lockdown was an opportunity for me to discover after 15 years of marriage that my husband is a very loud chewer. It just becomes a bit too much when it's always us. It's always the same chat. It's always we, argue about the same silly things. Um,
He's married then, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's nice.
yeah. Um,
Well, I
I know
think
it's been good. I'm of course I'm moaning. I'm a moaner, but it has been. I am very deeply appreciative of how good it was to have um, someone I have a good relationship with,
yeah,
someone I get along with, someone that we have a loving relationship base. It must have been really difficult for people who are either alone or people, or even probably even worse for people who are not in good relationships or not in good places. It must be, I can't imagine really.
yeah, yeah. Well, Aina, thanks a lot for talking to us. I can't wait to see your next issue of That Ilk magazine.
Of
Um,
course, and you should join some of the events, or
I've
either the
subscribed actually today, just before
good.
this. Yeah,
It was good to catch up with you too, Stuart. I'm looking forward to listening to I hope you get something good out of it. Um, and remember, you can always visit thatilk.org for all the resources and upcoming events and
yeah.
magazine and so on.
If you're ever wanting to do an article on me, then I'm here. You can contact me
Yeah,
anytime.
of course, absolutely. So if you want to, you, what am I trying to say? Do you want to do an interview type, or do you want to do?
So it's up to yourself. It's up to yourself.
Because I would love to feature your project um, and get the word out there anyways. So um, if you want to write about the story, because I think it's really interesting how it all started and
Yeah.
flow and so on. Put some links in there so
Uh,
people can quickly click and listen um, and subscribe. Um, absolutely, I would be very happy to do that.
yeah, I could write something for you and send it over to you, and maybe a wee
Perfect.
picture or two.
Yeah, that would be great.
And oh, the basically because we're trying to save the station just now, then that would be good to put a wee bit about that. And
Oh yeah, absolutely. And how people can get involved and help. Yep. Put
yeah,
all that in, and as soon as I have the material, I will upload it and share it
I'll
through my.
talk about how good it is for my mental health as well, because it has had a really massive impact on. Because I've had really bad mental illness in the past, and this has helped me a lot. Could talk about that a wee bit as well.
That would be very welcome if you'd like to do that.
Yeah,
I would appreciate that. I know how difficult it is to speak about your own challenges. I don't mention my anxiety and health,
yeah,
past health problems.
uh,
Not everybody perhaps understands, but I think it's really important to be open and honest about it, because if that helps someone on their own well-being journey, then
yeah.
I'm happy to do that. So I really appreciate what it means to open about those challenges.
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks very much,
Thank
Aina.
you. It was
Thanks a
good to
lot.
speak to you.
Aina, just one more thing. Have you got any songs that you might like to get played during your part of the?
Hi.
Play some of your best songs that if you want.
Oh,
Think any?
oh, that's a tricky one. Um, I'm blanking. I used to. I'm a huge music fan, so I always listen to something, either music or an audiobook. And I have one song that I think is quite, well, it's quite upbeat and quite modern, so I don't sound so old.
You don't look old.
Oh, thank you. It's just it's Hosh in 1979.
Hush?
Yes, Hosh.
Is 1979 the name of the band?
Hosh in 1979, I think, is the name of the band, and The Hanging Tree is the song.
Wow. I'm sure that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's more dance and upbeat, and I hope everybody can do a round of dancing in their kitchen.
Yeah, definitely put that on for you.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Aina.
Enjoy your day, and I'm looking forward to your article. Do you have my email?
I've got your email, yeah, I've got it. And I'll send you a copy of this before I make it live, so that if you want to, you can check it. And so it's all right. It's
Thank you.
good to go.
Okay.
Right. Thanks a lot, Aina.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.